Get some of these ground out pieces. Ow! Oh, hey everyone, Graver here. Just doing a quick PSA about safety. Remember, when modding a blast or anything really, you should always take proper safety measures to avoid workshop injuries. And kids, always remember, ask your parents' permission before using any kind of tool, especially power tools. So with that said, happy modding, stay safe, nerf on. Let's get back to work. Damn, that's gonna need a band-aid. What's up everyone, Graver here, and today on Back to Basics, I am going to show you how to make this, an RSCB clip. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, hello and welcome. But what I like to do in Back to Basics is take some of the very simple mods that we in the NIC have been doing for many millennia, or at least a couple of years, and just kind of revisit it and showcase how to do some of the more simpler stuff that no one really showcases anymore. And if they do showcase it, it's usually pretty quick with the understanding of, oh, well, if you know how to do this, then you should know how to do that type of thing. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the materials of what you're going to need, what tools you'll need, why you need those tools, how to put it together, and then we're going to see what the final product is. So why don't we go over to the workbench and we'll start getting this bad boy made. Well, not just specifically this one, but a version of it. Don't worry, follow me. Okay, so everything we're going to be needing is actually right here. You're going to need some barreling material. So here we have some 1/2 inch CPVC from Lowe's. We have some 1/2 inch Schedule 40 conduit. Now, the reason I have this particular conduit is because I went to my local Lowe's up by my office, which is where I was able to find my magic PVC. And much to my chagrin, they don't carry it anymore. So unfortunately, I don't have any magic PVC to use. So instead, I'm going to be using this conduit, which actually does nest this a little bit. So we're only going to be using part of this conduit pipe to hold in our actual barrel. And you may also notice that my work mat, as I knock stuff over, is also a light gray. And that reason being is because, as you can see here, is the nasty stain from some CPVC, PVC cement. This is actually the mat I use when I do my modding. The nice dark gray one that's usually in pictures or from my other videos, like when doing internals, that's what I like to call show mat. So in case you were wondering that, also I kind of just realized myself that this one was facing up and I didn't feel like re-recording this part. So what you will also need is this, a 1/2 inch PVC T-Coupler. Reason being is because you will need something to come down here to connect into your plunger assembly, something to hold your dart tube, and something to hold your barrel. So there we go. You'll also need a 90-degree elbow. And now this may look a little funny because this is a 90-degree 1/2 inch PVC elbow coupler with a 1/2 inch piece of PVC right here. And no, I did not make this. I actually got this at Lowe's like this. And reason being I got this specific one is because since I am going to be making this for my pullback, the profile up here is normally what you would do is you would take a piece of CPVC, or I'm sorry, a piece of PVC, and just use it to connect the couplers here. And as you can see, that is pretty big. Well, to minimize the dead space on this, I found this one, realize it nests very close, and is also pretty low profile. So that is why we're going to be going with this for this particular build. Now, if you have something that is pretty low profile like this might actually be the perfect way to go to help minimize dead space and make a good solid connection for you. Now, if you have something that for some reason has a very big bulky front, you may need to go with a standard 90-degree elbow in order to actually accommodate the front of your blaster. So just keep in mind, whatever you're building this for, if this will work for you, hey, that's going to be awesome because that's less dead space you have to worry about. You will also need a 1/2 inch ball valve. A 1/2 inch PVC ball valve, I'm sorry. Do not get CPVC. They will not fit darts. Preferably, I would say go for a 3/4 inch ball valve of actually a 3/4 inch CPVC ball valve, because the opening for these is pretty good. But the only thing is, though, it's also a little bigger on the 3/4 CPVC ones. You do have to kind of adjust on, because those are going to be too big to fit over 1/2 inch PVC. You would have to like tape or glue the ball valve to the end of your dart hopper. So there's that. Tool wise, extremely simple. Pair of pipe cutters, or if you want to use a saw, go right ahead. I like the pipe cutters because it's a lot easier to use it with. And some sandpaper, or if you don't want to use a sandpaper, you can use a Dremel with a sanding bit on the front. That is honestly what I would use overall, because you can do this with the sandpaper. It's just going to take a very long time to do with sandpaper, where the Dremel will just make things go a lot quicker. So we start off with, first you have to figure out what your optimal barrel length is, and that is a very fluid number. There's nothing specific. It's honestly always what your darts work best with. Pullback usually uses about a 12-inch barrel or so. So thankfully the cutting mat, I can just mark 12 inches here. You can use a marker for this, or just whatever you can find handy. This is about 12 inches, so right there we're marking that. You take your pipe cutter and cut. So we have our barrel length. We can put the rest of this aside. This is all you need the CPVC for, is your barrel. If you want to use something else, go right ahead. You can use PETG if you want. You can use aluminum. You can use brass. If you're using aluminum or brass, I would suggest you sleeve it with something, because you don't want to have bare metal sticking out at the end of your blaster, because God only knows what would happen if you hit somebody with it. So we can put that aside for now. Put those aside for now. And now we are working with the PVC. And yes, I know this is conduit material, but it's the same thing as PVC itself. So I'm at my 1-inch mark over here, or I'm sorry, my 0-inch mark. You don't want an excessive amount of hopper for your dart storage. I would say we'll make this 10 inches. And if you're using 1 1/4 or 1.5 inch darts, you can get about like 5 or 6 darts in there. So, which is actually pretty good. So, and I'm actually realizing I'm cutting a little shy of it. So, this is your dart hopper. We can put that aside. We're done with that. Now for the, that didn't come out very straight. I'll have to clean that up in a minute. But what we need now is we're going to need something to hold this into here, because as we can see, yeah, that's not going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of, we're not going to need a lot. You only need maybe about 2-3 inches or so. So we're cutting that off. And we're actually done with the pipe cutters now, so we can put those aside and put aside your extra. Now, if you have the magic PVC or something that can nest CPVC pretty well, you can just start working it in, sliding your piece in. Ow. I may take a little bit of extra more force than I thought it was going to. So I'm going to just take a little rubber mallet and beat the bejesus out of this. Okay, and we're back. So I was able to get nest this pretty well, and this might actually wind up tightening your CPVC a little bit. So you can see here, my darts are taking a little bit of extra give to get in there, which is not going to be good for trying to load this thing since it's all going to be gravity fed. So that's where this comes in. One, in case if it is nesting, you can sand out the little stub here a bit to try and get it to nest a little better, which is honestly what I should have done. But what you also would need to do is actually make a little ramp for this part. What you'd wind up doing is just taking this and just grinding away at this till you pretty much get this. Now, this is my actual barrel with magic PVC, but you can see here how I've kind of opened up the area a little bit more and also ramped it so that this way when a dart comes through, it can kind of sit a lot easier. So it's not just a matter of also beveling out this to make darts a little easier to sit, but you may want to also go a little bit in further just to try and get your darts to go in a little deeper into your barrel. And this is why I was saying while you can do it with sandpaper, it's going to be a very long, arduous task in order to get it with sandpaper, which is why I suggested the Dremel. So to assemble, very, very simple. Oh, and also this has like a little thing here. I'm going to grind that off on my final product, but you're going to want to get rid of that too because that's sharp and nasty. The assembly is very simple. We already put this together. If you're using a regular 90-degree elbow, which I don't think I have any, but you would take a chunk of the extra conduit or PVC, cut a stub just big enough to fit between both of them, and just slam it together, or however big you need. Again, just remember, the bigger you make this, the more dead space you have in the blaster, and dead space is never a good thing because that's just wasted space for air to travel. You want the most optimal amount of plunger to dart delivery as possible. So assembly is very simple. The back end is going to be your hopper, which is the piece of conduit, and your ball valve. And then the front assembly is your barrel and the stub here. And there we have a hopper setup. It's extremely simple, and we'll just show you how it works now. So, okay, so here we have the hopper. Yes, I know it is my barrel on here. Since I didn't grind the other one, I do want to make sure this does work. Again, this will work on it, but as you can see here, I have the dart hopper that we did make. So to load, you open the ball valve, you take some darts. Here I have some white foam Stefan darts that I made from Epoxy last year. And I just realized I closed it by mistake. I actually closed it. It was already open. So you open the hopper, load it in, make sure you're good. Give a little shakedown to get the darts there. Here I pull back and fire. And again, to load, push it down. Here we go, fire. And there you have it, the hopper setup. Or, I'm sorry, the RSCB clip. So I hope this was informative to some of you. I know I had gotten a request to redo mine, so I hope this helps you out. Let me know what you think of a hopper. If you're interested in doing some more DIY stuff with Nerf blasters, please throw me a comment down below. Let me know what you're working on. And as always, if you like this video, throw me a like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. I have some more Back to Basics coming up with more DIY items. And thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Later.